URC Power Rankings, folks, for round number 12. Six Nations is done. URC is back in action. I'll admit, I was a little bit under the weather the last few days, but I made good use of my time. When I was feeling miserable for myself, I lay down on the couch and chucked some URC on. So I've seen, not all the games, but I've seen a fair few of them. And just sat this morning and did the old power rankings. So let's see how they came out. What's the difference between the power rankings and the actual table? And you guys can let us know your thoughts on how things are looking. Good week for the teams in red. That is certainly one of the factors this week. Bringing up the bottom of the power rankings is Zebre. They are not the bottom team on the actual table. They are 15th on the table. One spot better than I've got them here. But they lost to Leinster. There's no real shame in that because Leinster are the top team on the bloody table. Their record is 1 win, a draw, and 10 losses. They hit back after going down points early, but ended up losing 31-7. It's another loss. It's how many games? Like 7 in a row? Tough. The Dragons are in 15th. They are on 16th on the actual table, so I've got them slightly better. Their losing run I don't think is quite as bad. I think they've got 1 win in their last 7. So slightly better than Zebre, which is potentially why they're a spot higher. They also played one of the top sides. They also played them at home, and they also lost. So they lost to the Bulls 31-10. Down 2 spots on the power rankings, sadly, for the Dragons, guys. Next is Cardiff, who are also down on the power rankings, 2 spots with a loss to Glasgow. One thing I will say for their loss was it wasn't at home. It was away, and it was a pretty classy loss, I guess. Encouraging loss, if you want to call it that. They lost 17-13 to one of the top sides away from home. They did have a 13-0 lead. This was one of the games I didn't see in full. So that's kind of troubling. And then they kicked it away at the death into touch when they were chasing the game after the hooter had gone. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. But yeah, Cardiff, I've got them down 2 spots. I think their losing run is currently at 4 games. And then, oh my goodness, the Sharks had a win. This is one of the games that I saw. And when I say I saw it, like I said, I was feeling unwell. I was kind of like opening and closing my eyes from time to time. I seem to remember a lot of loose passes and whatnot in this game. It didn't seem to be from the condition that I was watching it in. Which is not that bad, but still, I wasn't watching it that intently as I might have normally. But it seemed a bit ugly. But heck, man, it's a win. 5 losing games in a row ended for them. If it's an ugly win, like some of them, really fussy, I think, put in a terrible one at least once or twice. Like, yeah, some real loose passing. But heck, man, 22-12 over Ulster, who's a decent side, but having a bit of kind of off-the-field turmoil. 2 wins, 10 losses. They will take what they can get for sure. So, there you go. Sharks round out the bottom row. The next of the teams is another team which hadn't had a win for a while in the Scarlets. One of these teams in red. I mean, Scarlets' record is similar to the Sharks one with 3 wins and 9 losses. So slightly better. They beat Benetton 16-13, and boy did they do it at the end. They had to wait until the clock was at the red at full time. 83rd minute maul try. Good comeback after being down. So, yeah, that's encouraging because there's not been much encouraging about the Scarlet season thus far. So, they caught Benetton, I think, maybe at the right time because Benetton's on a little bit of a losing run of their own. But there you go, up 2 spots for the Scarlets. Next, I've got the Ospreys here in 11th, and that rounds out the Welsh teams. The Ospreys down 3 spots on the power rankings with a loss to Munster. They did lose at home. They lost 27-17. They were 19-0 down. So I guess there's a little bit of encouraging signs that they managed to mount a bit of a comeback. But home loss is, it's tough. So they've kind of been punished for that in the power rankings. They are 11th on the log, though. So my ranking is the exact same as what they've got on the actual table. Connacht are here in 10th. No, they're not. It's Benetton. Benetton are here in 10th. Guess who's going to be next? Benetton said their run at the moment is not great. I think they are on 3 losses in a row in the URC. They did get the first try of the game against the Scarlets. It was their only try of the game. through Ratsave. It was a pretty nice one out on the wing. But, they'll be pretty disappointed that they had a 13-3 lead at halftime and kind of fluffed their lines on that one. And then speaking of Connacht, there we go. Connacht are the first of the Irish sides. Kind of this is another one of the games that I watched in full. Firstly, beautiful day in Galway. Seemed to be very sunny, a bit of wind, but that's kind of par for the course. But then, the Lions had a red card, and all the South African teams, from memory, and what the commentators said, don't have a great record in Galway. But the Lions just cut them to bits. The Connacht boys made a lot of errors. So I don't think they'll be particularly happy with that one. Their 3-match winning run has ended. And perhaps a bit harshly, got them 4 spots down on the power rankings. But a lot of sides who are kind of there or thereabouts with them ended up getting wins. So maybe that's part of the reason why. Connacht are in 9th on the log as well. So also a matching spot. Second row from the top, we have... Get it right, Mark. Ulster. I mentioned a bit of off-the-field turmoil with Ulster. I think it's going on in the boardroom as well. It seems to be making a bit of that influence felt on the field. I mentioned the game against the Sharks was a weird one. There was one moment where they had some handbags. Henderson put in a high tackle, and then Hume and one of the Sharks boys got yellow carded. So there were 3 guys off the field at the same time. It was a bizarre game. They've just got no consistency at the moment, the Ulster boys. They have got a winning record, 7-5, but down 2 spots on the power rankings. So that's 1 spot, 8th, lower than what they are on the real table, which is 7th. But their record recently is very, very topsy-turvy. So we'll see if they're able to turn it around as we get to the business end of the season. Edinburgh here in 7th, another one of the games that I watched, their game against the Stormers. Their 3-game winning run has ended. I looked at the stats after this game. 14 clean breaks to 2, and Edinburgh was not on the correct side of that one. So, the Stormers were playing with some pretty kind of free, open running play, and Edinburgh couldn't live with them. 43 points to 21 is it's a bit of a hiding, but away from home, against a pretty good Stormer side, it's maybe not too disheartening. I don't know. They'll certainly need to bounce back in their next game. The Lions have been a bit of a surprise package come the latter half of the season. They are one of the sides that the power rankings are ranking decently higher than the actual log. They are just in 8th on the actual log. I got them in 6th because I think their recent form is better. If I'm not mistaken, they've won 5 of their last 7, which is more than most teams can say. And that was despite having a 17th minute red card to their tight head prop. I forget his name, that big unit of a guy. Once they went down that guy, surely they are losing in Galway. But they never looked like losing it. If you just turned it on and you didn't have the little red card indicator, you probably wouldn't have known they were man down. It was really, really surprising. So very encouraging from the Lions. Edville van der Merwe scored 1 and I think set up another. He's been a classy acquisition since he signed for them. 2 years ago now? Really, really encouraging for the Lions. And the Stormers make out the end of the second row with their win over the Edinburgh guys. Just thing of beauty tries it sometimes in this game. Sometimes watching the Sharks-Ulster game made me kind of want to go back and have a wee nap. As I said, not feeling 100%, but the Stormers game made me want to get up and sit up and watch. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff these guys were doing, the offloads, the cross kicks, it was really, really attractive rugby. So, very, very fun team to watch. What can I say? Their winning run recently, I think, is 5 of last 6. So, Hartzenberg gets 3 hat-trick, gets 1 hat-trick. Zas gets a couple of tries. I think Rus got a couple, right? They were scoring tries for fun. Really, really pretty to watch. So, up 5 spots. Them and the Stormers. Them and the Lions on the power rankings. I'm still not 100% today, but there we go. I won't complain. Munster in 4th. Is this the first time Munster have been top of the log? They started the season atrociously. And 4th is their spot on the actual log. Now they're at a 7-win, 4-loss, 1-draw record, 3 wins in a row. Flying start to the game. O'Brien gets a couple of tries. They never really looked like going behind in this one, did they, against the Ospreys? So 27-17 away win, up 3 spot in the power rankings. They are coming good at the right time. They had a bit of a hangover after the kind of championship run last year, but it's coming good. Glasgow also had a win. Like I mentioned, their win over Cardiff wasn't the most convincing, but it's a win. Comeback as well. So don't think Franco Smith was particularly happy with the result at the end of it. He looked a bit dissatisfied, but as I said, good teams are the ones that don't play 100% and still manage to grind out a win. The Bulls are still in second. They have not changed from the last time we did the power rankings. Their win over the Dragons makes it, I think, 4 in a row for them. So they're in pretty good form. 9 wins, 3 losses, which is the same as Glasgow's record. 27 minutes for the first try, which was maybe a bit longer than expected. And they had to go again until the clock was in the red before they could get that 4th try bonus point. But they managed to get it. So that's a bit of classy stuff from the Bulls. 31-10 winners. And then Leinster got the best record in the URC. 10 wins, 2 losses. The Irish international's still out, but they didn't really miss a beat. 31-7 winners over Zebre. Early score. Rob Russell got a couple in the game. Bonus point win away from home. 31-7 winners. Same as the last time we did the power rankings. So, yeah, looking pretty classy. But, yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts. Some spots, the power rankings are pretty much matching the log, like the top 4. But there are some teams who maybe are kind of getting into some good form. I'm mainly excited about how the Lions are going. Hopefully I don't jinx them. Ulster's form is a little bit concerning, but we'll see, as I said, if they are kind of able to turn around. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.